Welcome back to Give Him 5 Media. I'm Ethan Bonheur, joined alongside Owen Heffron. We are here in the first quarter, 8:36 to go. OSU up 7-0 over the Ducks, who have been struggling so far in this game. Back-to-back 3-and-outs for the offense, and then just a 31-yard punt, setting up OSU at their own 45-yard line. So far, it has not been great for those Oregon Ducks there, Owen.
No, and I talked about this in the last stream we had. Again, sorry for those technical difficulties. Not quite sure what's going on, but that bye for Oregon being the number one seed, it has its advantages and its disadvantages. You know, you're more well rested, you're healthier as a team, but then again, you're not as fresh. You look at a team like Ohio State that has some momentum coming off of a 42-point, very decisive win against Tennessee. In Oregon, they haven't played any football since that Big Ten championship win over Penn State. A relatively close game as well. So Ohio State really coming out firing. Just took them 3 plays to score on that opening drive. They've been hitting Jeremiah Smith like he's prime Jerry Rice. It's been a very good showing right now for the Buckeyes.
Just 2 back-to-back plays of Buka with a 7-yard catch, and then Travion Henderson gets the first down with a 4-yard rush as Ibuka, another big name for that OSU wide receiver room. And obviously he's going to take his talents now to the NFL next year as he looks to kind of raise his draft stock here and get his name out there more as Will Howard looks over the middle, intended for Ibuka, and what a dime. Will Howard to Emeka Ibuka from 42 yards out for another Ohio State touchdown.
Well, you spoke it into existence there, Ethan. Emeka Ibuka right down the seam for 40 yards. Ohio State striking again. I know one of our directors, Jacob Kaplan, is super happy right now. And I know Ben Gans is not being a Michigan fan, but right down the seam. That's why Emeka Ibuka, he's going to take his talents, like you just said, to the NFL. Definitely, most likely, I don't want to put anything 100%, but looks to be a first-round talent for certain. 14-0 Ohio State now with less than half the first quarter gone.
Wow. That first first Smith from 45 yards out, now Ibuka from 42. Wow. I mean, they looked phenomenal going into that Tennessee game, and I would have thought that's probably the best football they're going to play, but so far, at the exact midway point of this first quarter, they are playing probably their best football we've seen. And I don't know, is Oregon showing those signs of not playing since that Big Ten championship that they haven't really gotten that real test yet. And now Ohio State, they're coming out firing, and that spread -2.5. It's looking well in their favor as that ball looked tipped right into the arms of Ibuka. But what a dime there by Will Howard, who is playing phenomenal. 6 for 9, 165, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, what a great job by Ibuka tracking that ball. He was able to secure it with one hand after the tip. And both these guys, Howard and then Dylan Gabriel for the Ducks, had over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns passing, no interceptions when they faced off earlier this season. And yeah, like you said, some of the best football we've seen Ohio State play. I predicted this game to be a lot closer. Thought it was going to be, maybe around a 31-28. I did think Ohio State was going to come out on top, but the big plays already stacking up from scrimmage, 30-yard reception, Jeremiah Smith, a 45-yard touchdown, and then Emeka Ibuka just then 42-yard touchdown. So big plays are really what kind of just beating down. It's what it does. It just beats down a defense, and that's what the Ducks defense looks like right now.
OSU has more touchdowns than Oregon does first downs. Crazy halfway through this first quarter. We have a little trick play end around here for Oregon to get this drive started, and it's going to be blown up completely. Tez Johnson, the number 1 man for the Ducks, loses one as they're trying to get him early, but so far OSU has him on lockdown.
Yeah, there were multiple white shirts around there. Denzel Burke was the first to get there for the Buckeyes. I think you're just trying to do too much is really the big thing I'm seeing right now. You're down by 14. You're trying too many trick plays. You got to just do what's been working all season. Get it to James at the middle. That was just a screen pass to Johnson, but that's decent yardage. You're trying to be too fancy with it, I thought, on that first play.
Yeah, you don't want to try and get it back all at once. I mean, we've seen Ohio State get those big plays, and we even saw earlier in the first game today, we saw Texas go up 14-0, and ASU was able to claw back, especially in that fourth quarter. I don't know if Oregon wants to kind of play by that scenario, so they're going to try and start clawing back as early as possible as they are set up for a 3rd and 8. Empty set once again as we have two men motioning in, 2 at the top, 1 at the bottom, still empty. Gabriel drops back, only a 3-man rush. He's got time. He hits his tight end underneath, who's able to run up past the 35-yard line for a first down. Solid gain of 9 for Ferguson.
Yeah, Terrence Ferguson, the senior, the big man just fighting forward, falling for the first down. You mentioned only a 3-man rush. So they drop a lot of that defense back. It leaves the underneath a little open. A little bit of hesitation, too, from Ferguson after catching that ball. He was able to make some nice moves and get around.
Outside, and he's going to get a nice gain of 10 yards and another first down for Oregon.
Again, speaking it into existence, Ethan, just a really good run, gets right past the first down, then ducks out of bounds. This is a guy that has 1,200 rushing yards on the season, so I would like to see them implement him more as well.
Here we go. 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line. The Ducks are moving quickly now. Gabriel, play action. Now he's going to air it out deep down that far sideline. One-on-one for Tez Johnson. And it ricocheted off the OSU player's helmet, and Johnson almost got it, but brings up 2nd and 10.
That would have been probably the touchdown of the season. It bounces off of Davison Igbenuson's helmet. Sorry if I'm butchering that pronunciation, but up into the air. And it Tez Johnson was kind of backpedaling as well with the DB falling towards him. I think that if the cornerback doesn't kind of take out Johnson's legs, he might have a real shot at kind of getting that off the ricochet.
Already 4 targets for Johnson, but only 2 catches for 8 yards. As James is going to get another handoff, and this time he's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 2. Looks like Jackson was in there once again for this OSU front 7.
Yeah, it was Ty Hamilton as well, along with Jackson. Blew that play up right behind the line. And now it's 3rd and long for the Ducks.
Ducks have not been great on 3rd down. Let's see if they can flip the script here on that. 4 receivers split, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. James to Gabriel's right. Time winding down on that play clock. He's got to go 1. Hits 0. They get the playoff just in time. Pass is going to be fired quickly, and it's not going to be enough for the first down. Catch made by Golden. It's going to be 4th and medium.
So looks like they're going to bring on the punting unit for the Ducks. They're only 1 and 4 on 3rd downs already in this one. So yeah, 4th and 6, they're not going to try anything.
They're going to send it away once again back to Ohio State. Hopefully they're going to look to pin them within their own 15-yard line here as the punter gets it, and it's going to go out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Good punt there by Dunn. Give them 40 yards, and OSU is going to be set up at their own 8-yard line. 14-0 OSU on top. 3:47 to go in this first quarter. I'm Ethan Bonheur, joined alongside Owen Heffron for another Give 'em 5 media production. We will be back after the short break. And welcome back to Give 'em 5 Media. I'm Ethan Bonner, joining alongside Owen Heffron to bring you the third quarterfinal matchup between OSU and Oregon so far. Or OSU has looked completely unstoppable, up 14-0, and they have the ball back once again at their own 9-yard line. And Oregon, they've struggled. Only 2 first downs compared to OSU's 2 touchdowns as Quinshon Judkins gets the toss on 1st and 10. He's going to get half of what he needs, give him a gain of 5, sets them up at their own 14-yard line.
Yeah, lowering the shoulder too to finish off that run for Ohio State's leading rusher, Quinshon Judkins. They only have 5 rushing yards, or excuse me, 10 rushing yards. The Buckeyes, they have 175 total yards offense, whereas Oregon only 37. Look, just look outmatched. Really, have the Ducks in this game so far.
Here we go. It's going to be an inside handoff this time again to Judkins, and he's going to be met right away. What a play there by Derek Harmon to meet him right at the line of scrimmage and stop him, only for a gain of 1, 3rd and 4.
That's a big man, too. Derek Harmon hitting Judkins hard right at the line of scrimmage. So now it's a big 3rd down here for Ohio State.
Combined 1 for 5 for both Oregon and Ohio State. Ohio State's only attempted one of those 5 third downs as they now face one from inside their own 20. Oregon showing blitz. They only send 4. Howard has time, floats it towards that near sideline. It is caught again by Jeremiah Smith. And just talk about that ball placement too. Incredible throw by Howard. That connection is really thriving for these two.
And there he is. He breaks the 100-yard receiving mark in the first quarter. That's just insane football being played by both Smith and Howard all season long. Last week, of course, against Tennessee in that first round, Smith had 103 yards. So he already is past it in about 14 minutes worth of football.
And OSU decides to go quick here, and it's going to be Judkins once again, picks up a gain of 5 on a quick inside handoff. And just Will Howard, 197 yards already. He's on pace for 800 passing yards and 8 touchdowns at this rate. Incredible play action. Looking for Smith. He's going to go that way. It's a little too far ahead of him. Good defense, though, by the Oregon Ducks. 3rd and 5.
Yeah, it's a tough throw to make on the run after the play action, just past the outstretched left arm of Jeremiah Smith, that true freshman with his 4 catches and 1 touchdown already, looking to go to him again. Old reliable, really. But now here's another 3rd down for the Buckeyes. They're 1 and 2 so far on those today.
Oregon could use a big stop here before they fall into a bigger hole late in this first quarter. Here we go. Time winding down that play clock. They get off with 5 to go. Howard zips it underneath. He's got Ibuka who's going to make a great run after catch. Give him 15. That's his 3rd catch of the game at 64 yards. Pick up a 15 and another first down for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, it's a nice little, I think that was a little choice route, but a nice double move at the top. They swing Ibuka kind of across and then shakes one defender before being wrapped down. Ibuka's already got a touchdown in this one. And most likely a 1st-round pick in April.
Motion man, not going to give it to him. Howard's going to keep it, and he's going to be brought down from behind. Good stop there for the Ducks. It's going to be 2nd and 11.
Yeah, it's Mateo Uiagalelei. Another tough name to pronounce, but that's the team. That's the Ducks leader in sacks with 10.5 this year. They just gave him credit for another one, most likely. Howard just had no room to run.
This is most likely going to be the last play of the first quarter, 20 and ticking, 10 left on the play clock as there's 2 men in the backfield here for OSU along with Will Howard. And it's going to be an outside sweeper there for the Buckeyes, and that's going to be Quinshon Judkins, who's going to break a couple tackles and get a pickup of 5, but 8 seconds to go, and the time is going to tick. It's going to bring up 3rd and 5 from the Oregon 28. OSU completely dominating this game over the 1 seed and still undefeated Oregon Ducks. I'm Ethan Bonheur, joined alongside Owen Heffron, live from Give 'em 5 Media. Make sure to subscribe and like this live stream. We will be back after the short break. OSU up early, 14-0, as we head into the second quarter. And welcome back to Give 'em 5 Media, as we have a 3rd and 5 from the Oregon 28 for the Buckeyes to open up this second quarter. 14-0 early, touchdowns by both Smith and Abuka, as now have the motion man coming in from right to left. Howard looks right initially. Now he's going to fire on the crosser intended for Smith. Good defense there by the Ducks. It's Jabbar Muhammad, the senior, breaking it up. Already his 7th target early in this first half, as it's going to bring out the field goal unit.
Yeah, Howard missed a man wide open right in the middle of the field for a first down as well. He was going to Smith, get it. That's his favorite target, but at some point, Howard's got to scan the field a little bit more. We've seen him hit a Ibuka a couple times, but besides that, it's only G. Scott with a catch. I talked about Tate a little bit at the beginning.
And Jaden Fielding on for the field goal, and it is drilled right down the middle. 3-possession game within the first 10 seconds of this second quarter. 17-0. OSU up early, and we just went to commercial, so we'll stay on while we wait for Oregon to receive the ball. But Owen, what have you seen so far in this first quarter by OSU, and what does Oregon need to do to kind of make a comeback to start the second half?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I've seen Jeremiah Smith pretty much everywhere. In this game, he's got 4 catches, so he's averaging just under 30 yards per reception with a touchdown on the 3rd play of the game. And then Emeka Egbuka as well, averaging over 20 yards a reception. So I think it's just got to be limiting those big plays. They've done a good job holding off the run. Judkins only has 17 yards on 5 carries. Henderson only has 1 carry for 4 yards. So I think they've been a good job containing the run. I think they have to focus on maybe pushing the secondary a bit back, not allowing those big plays to be done. But a great job from the Buckeyes, up 17 very early. The college football playoff, in the history of it for Ohio State, they've haven't allowed, or I guess sorry, I should say in this college football playoff, they haven't allowed a single point in the first quarter. So they've come out hot in both games so far.
And over the course of the season, too, in the entire game, they've only allowed 11 points per game up until this point, which is the number one points per game or points allowed per game on defense, which is outstanding so far. They've done a great job limiting the number one team in the country to 0 as they now get the ball at their own 25. Dylan Gabriel, 6 for 9.
That's a hard tackle going right at James from ransom, like you said, Ethan. Jeez.
2nd and 7. Oregon trying to get something going here before they fall into a deeper hole. Already down 3 possessions. They want to respond. They also do get ball to start the second half. So going to try and get the quick toss out to the left. And once again is swarmed by Buckeyes. He's only going to be allowed another yard. It's going to bring up 3rd and 6 from their own 29.
Yeah, I don't think I really like that call. I know that, you got James who's over 1,200 yards, but this is an Ohio State defense that's really stopped that play this entire game. And this defense, these starters are so experienced. Most of them have been at OSU for at least 4 years.
Here we go. Trips up to the right. Motion man comes in. Gabriel looks right initially. Now fires across the middle. And what a catch there by his man, Trayshawn Holden, the senior. First time we're calling his name out today, as Tez Johnson's been the man that Gabriel's been looking for. But there, Holden makes a sensational grab, give him a gain of 12 and an Oregon first down.
Yeah, Johnson's been the guy, like you said, so far in this one, but they finally hit Holden, who's got over 600 yards receiving on the year, and yet to see a lot of Evan Stewart at all in this game. There's another handoff to James.
2-yard pickup there for Jordan James. 6 carries for 21 yards. He's not really, or 6 carries for 14 yards, correction. He has 2 catches for 7 yards. So only 2 yards a carry up to this point for Jordan James, for, again, one of the best backs in the country up to this point, as it's going to be 2nd and 8. It's going to be another inside handoff to James, and he's going to go nowhere, making 7 carries for 14 yards, and now he's officially at 2 yards a carry, 3rd and long.
Yeah, this is such a strong Ohio State defense. You talked about it a few plays ago, but the highest points they've allowed in a game is 32 against Oregon back in October. And besides that, they haven't let up more than 17 points the entire rest of the season. So this is a super strong defense. Looks like they only got 2 guys on the line for this play, but they'll probably blitz more.
That's Noah Whittington in for Jordan James on this 3rd down. Here we go. He looks left right away and fires quickly. High ball caught there by Tez Johnson, but he's going to be short of the line to gain. If that was probably right at his chest, he could have gotten for the first down, but he had to jump up, and that gave time for the Buckeyes to swarm him.
Looks like they're going to keep him on as well for this 4th and 3. A lot of pressure here. I like the call from Dan Lanning to keep his offense out there. Maybe we'll see a hard count. Not entirely sure. This is definitely 4th down territory, though.
They're at their own 48, and it's definitely a 4th and manageable. They're 11 for 17 on 4th downs this season, as we're going to get a timeout by Ryan Day and that Ohio State defense. They want to talk things over. But yeah, so far, 17-0. Ohio State, like last week, they looked incredible against Tennessee, and they're carrying that momentum right into this game in the Rose Bowl. And we're going to see what happens on this 4th and 3, whether Dan Lanning wants to go for it after this quick break. Ethan Bonheur, Owen Heffron bringing you live on Give 'em 5 Media. Make sure to subscribe. We will be back after this quick break. 5 medium Ethan Bonner joined alongside Owen Heffron, where we already have a big decision to make here for the Oregon Ducks, already down 17-0. And they're set up with a 4th and 3 at their own 48-yard line. It looks like their offense is going to stay out of the field coming out of this timeout. 11:16 to go in the second quarter as Johnson goes in motion from right to left. James or Whittington in the backfield with Gabriel. Gabriel pumps, now fires, and it's going to be incomplete. Great defense there by the Buckeyes, and Simon was there to make a play on the ball, do not allow the Ducks to get their hands on it.
Yeah, this was just all around great coverage from the Buckeyes. We see some crossers going from left to right for Oregon, kind of just an easy crosser play. It looks like Gabriel just kind of panicked and just went to that last kind of option. He had, I think, more time than he thought, right through the hands of Cody Simon, like you said, and good coverage as well from Jordan Hancock. So now the Buckeyes are going to take over already in Oregon territory.
My, oh my, what has this game turned into? We thought that this would be one of the closer games you would see, but it turns out that Texas ASU game may have stolen the spotlight
Mm-hmm.
from the Rose Bowl. As now Judkins is going to get the inside handoff, and he's got a nice hole. He's going to get another 5-yard pickup. I feel like that's been consistent for him throughout the game so far. And it's going to bring up 2nd and medium.
Yeah, well, I know that neither of us wanted a blowout in this one, Ethan, but if we go back to the first round, we thought that Texas Clemson was going to be a little blowout. Then Clemson clawed their way back, and we had ourselves a pretty good football game, especially in that second half. But no, right now, it looks like Ohio State is just better on every aspect than the Ducks.
And speaking of that quarterfinal game, we want to thank everyone that tuned into that stream, as we had over 15,000 views on that. As oh my, Will Howard puts it on the money to Jeremiah Smith, a 42-yard touchdown to Ibuka, a 43-yard touchdown to Jeremiah Smith, and 45-yard touchdown to Jeremiah Smith. Wow.
This is unreal what we're watching right now. Ohio State looks like they should be the number one team in the nation. Oregon fans right now are in shambles. It's 23-0 before the extra point. Another bomb. I talked about it. They have to limit the big plays, and they're not. Jeremiah Smith is finding wherever the Oregon defensive backs aren't, and he's going to that spot. And Will Howard is putting it on the spot. Perfect connection to the freshman. His second touchdown in this game, like you talked about. My goodness, 161 yards off of 5 catches for Jeremiah Smith.
He's averaging 32 yards a catch. And we're early in the second quarter right now. This is unbelievable. We talked about Ryan Williams, how spectacular he was. Jeremiah Smith looks like one of the best players in college football right now, and he looks like one of the leading Heisman candidates early for next year when he leads the team as a sophomore. But 24-0 Ohio State over Oregon. We will be back after this short break as Dan Lanning in Oregon down 3 possessions. We'll be back. stunner we have so far. 20 minutes into game time in this Rose Bowl. OSU up 24-0 on the Ducks, the number one seed who has looked unstoppable up to this point, who actually beat this OSU team in the regular season 32-31. They're already about to reach that 31-point mark in this first half. Oh, and what does Oregon have to do to come?
I mean, I keep saying it, but Ohio State is having big plays on every single one of their drives. They're averaging 18 yards per reception as a team right now, which is absolutely blasphemous. And the Ducks, they have to figure it out. I mean, we know that Dan Lanning is a great coach, just not playing like it or showing it right now. And there's so much pressure on Ryan Day. We know his record against top 5 teams. We know his record, in the playoffs. But Jeremiah Smith is really putting his team on the back, and Will Howard. I'm not trying to discredit those dimes that he's been throwing to the freshmen so far this game, but it's really when you have players that can do that, a lot of the pressure comes off of Ryan Day, which makes him a better coach. So I think that Oregon is going to have to settle in, especially in the second half. I think they're going to be playing better, but also Ohio State, when you have a relaxed coach, the team is more relaxed, which helps them throughout the entirety of the game.
First and 10, it's an inside handoff to Noah Whittington, who goes nowhere. The foot is staying on the gas for OSU as they drop him for a loss of 1, 2nd and 11.
Whittington only had 3 carries back on October 12th when these two teams played each other. It was Jordan James really who dominated the game's leading rusher with 115 yards. And Oregon really led. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I don't know if you just saw, but Jordan James just walked into the locker room for the Ducks. It's a quick out route there for Tez Johnson, gain of 7. But what a loss that could be if he doesn't come back out for the rest of this game, already down 24.
Yeah, huge loss. 1,200 rushing yards, 200 receiving yards as well. 15 times he's gotten into the end zone on the ground this season. Huge loss. And don't count out Noah Whittington as well, but James has been that guy. He rushed for over 100 yards, like I just said, against OSU. He hasn't looked the best today. Maybe they're just being a little precautionary right before halftime, give him a lot of time. But Dylan Gabriel and company has to figure something out.
3rd and 4 from the 31-yard line. Dylan Gabriel has time, now rolls out to his left, fires, and it's going to be incomplete. Once again, the Buckeyes defense holds strong and gets another 3 and out on this Oregon offense. 3 touchdowns for OSU, 3 and outs for that OSU defense. They've just been unstoppable on both sides of the ball. And Oregon, once again, I think they're going to have to punt it away here already. They've gone nowhere. 6 yards on this drive. They're at their own 31. They can't, once again, give it in their own territory as, Ross James, he's going to come on to boot it away. And this time it's a nice, clean kick. We saw him hit a 31-yarder last time. And actually, this one's not much better. It's going to be 35. And it's going to be marked out of bounds at the OSU 34. So, again, Will Howard looking to come onto the field and march down once again with his star-studded wide receivers up 24-0. They've just looked unstoppable.
And there's just on that play, like really just no one was open there for Dylan Gabriel, and just so much attests to this OSU defense. It's just so impressive what they've been able to do in this one.
Usually, too, like when you have that star on offense, OSU, they have 2 stars at 2 different positions on offense between, you have Jeremiah Smith and then Emeka Ibuka, and then don't even take away Carnell Tate. He's been phenomenal for OSU as well. And then at the running back position with Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, they have 2 dynamic duos on offense, one at the wide receiver position, one at the running back position. It's just so hard to watch all 4 of those guys on every single play.
Oh, and 100%. And if you go through the game log of Ohio State this season, I'm talking about throughout every game they've played, which I believe it's been 13 games so far, Henderson has led the team in rushing yards 6 times, and then Judkins led the team in rushing yards in the game 7 times. So they're so balanced out. and it's just so impressive they can use them both. And then same with, receiving. Amika Buka has led the team in receiving yards. I believe it's 3 times, and then Jeremiah Smith has been, for him, it's been 8 times, with Tate 2 leading the team in receiving yards per game. So just so impressive. And it's, Oregon's first year in the Big 12. And this might kind of be a little bit of a wake up call with this really big, strong team that's been in the college football playoffs a lot. Maybe on a little bit of a bigger stage, coming off of a 42-point decisive win, riding all that momentum after being the Volunteers.
And also, too, coming into this game, I like the point you mentioned earlier that we didn't really get to talk on. And since we're on commercial, we have the time. Like Ryan Day and what he kind of has on the line, it's very similar to a coach who's already played, and that's Penn State with James Franklin. Both very similar positions. They both know, and their collective atmospheres. They know what's kind of on the line with their positions, whether they're going to stay. And obviously, Penn State, they already won, and OSU have the ball up 24-0. They're looking way ahead as possibly getting to the semifinals. It's clearly not over yet, but the way it's looking, they could be well on their way to move on and play against Texas. But it's so interesting to see, like, when coaches are put in these pressure situations, they somehow find a way to perform at their peak level. As we kind of return here and we see, Jeremiah Smith just already surpassed his numbers from last week's game against Tennessee, where he got high praise in that game and already crushes those numbers with 58 more yards, 1 less catch, but 2 touchdowns. It's unbelievable what is going on for both Ryan Day and his Buckeyes and James Franklin and his Nittany Lions, as we have a breakaway run for Travion Henderson. He gets to the inside and runs it down the sideline. First play of the drive. It's a 66-yard touchdown run for the Buckeyes. What is going on for this Oregon Ducks defense? That's 4 touchdowns with 40-plus yards.
This feels surreal. It is the best way that I can describe it. I talked about limiting the big plays through the air. They've done a good job limiting the run. But Travion Henderson, we haven't even seen him that much this game. I believe that was just his second carry in this one. But we talked about that dynamic duo, and he takes it 66 yards to the house before the extra point, 30-0. This is absolutely wild. And I cannot believe that Oregon is performing like this.
What is going on? Oh my goodness. Already 347 yards of total offense for the Buckeyes. I don't even know. They're probably performing better in real life than I would perform with them on College Football 25 if I was playing Oregon on Hall of Fame. I mean, this is just unbelievable. And we talked about before the playoffs even started, like we mentioned this too when we were commentating for the Clemson-Texas game, the path that Ohio State has to get to the national championship, probably the hardest out of any team, whether it be in Ohio State or Tennessee, depending on who won that game. But first of all, going into playing Tennessee, who has been one of the powerhouses of the SEC, to now facing the number 1 team heading into this Rose Bowl, and now looking well on their way to facing Texas, another powerhouse in the SEC. But what a showing Ryan Day and the Buckeyes are putting up right now against the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah, it's incredible. 347 total yards of offense, like you said, against Oregon 66, down 31-0, down by 4 scores, not even halfway through the second quarter. This just doesn't look like the Oregon Ducks. It doesn't look like the undefeated team that we saw. And I know that, they played Ohio State and they won by 1. They only won by 1. If Will Howard slides down at the right time, they kick a field goal, and maybe Ohio State goes on to win, but still they're an undefeated football team, and you can't discredit them with anything like that. But that bench of Ohio State, they're hyping up the crowd right now at the Rose Bowl. It's a sea of red in the stands, and Dylan Gabriel has to get the ball moving.
I was just about to say it's about to be a sea of red in Pasadena, but Noah Whittington, again, filling in for the injured Jordan James, who went into the locker room earlier, gets stuffed once again. Loss of 2. He has 2 carries for -3 yards. What an unbelievable showing that Ohio State is having in foot. Yet again, still pedal to the metal on both sides of the ball as now it's a heavy formation here. Dylan Gabriel, 9 for 14, 50, 40-yard motion from left to right, play action. It's going to be a screen play. It's going to be batted down. Great play there by OSU.
Such a good job on defense. That's Jack Sawyer, who's been a stud this entire season. I don't know if I really like this play call. I know they've been going to the screen passes a lot. They actually had good blocking downfield if that pass was going to be able to be completed right off that right forearm of the senior Jack Sawyer. Maybe a good draft prospect to go in the later rounds.
Gabriel on 3rd and 12 is given time. Now fires on the run, and it's going to be incomplete. Once again, the secondary for OSU has stepped up tremendously. That's Caleb Downs, the sophomore, who, once again, another one of those tremendously good players that OSU has on the back end for their defense, but they're going to have to punt it and lead that acrobatic play.
Yeah, this is a great job from Downs going right in front of Holden, I believe that was. It was Trayshawn Holden, indeed, right off the hands. So now he's going to be back there to return the punt.
It's a better punt there. Fair catch called for by Caleb Downs, like you said. And they're going to be set up at their own 40-yard line. I feel like every single time they get the ball back, it's somewhere in between that 30-yard line to midfield. They always have good field position. And like I said earlier, Oregon, they've not played a real game of football since December 7th, almost a month ago in that Big Ten game. And the winner of this game will go on to face number 5 Texas in the semifinal. So, I mean, like, while we have time and they're going to stay on the field here. So you have a little bit of time. Double overtime. Texas ASU. Was the result shocking to you?
I mean, I came in, I was kind of rooting for the underdog in ASU. I think Cam Scatterbu had the game of his life. He really put the team on his shoulders like he's been doing all season long. But in the end, I think it, especially in the double overtime, just, the Texas defense kind of poised a little too strong for the Sun Devils.
Quinshon Judkins there gets a 15-yard rip right up the middle on the counter play. But yeah, no, ASU, Texas, what a fight that ASU put up. I mean, we saw earlier Boise State, another one of those teams that got the bye, that played another one of these big powerhouse teams in Penn State. They lost. And ASU, it kind of felt like they were in that same situation. But they looked like the hottest team in football, and it's really showed there, 31-39 or 39-31 the final there, as you have another inside handoff there. Judkins actually going to try and bounce it outside. He's going to be dragged out of bounds. Give him 5 yards.
Yeah, it's still a moderate gain, though. Like, just looking at that, you would think that it's, it's obviously not the best plays that Ohio State's got in this game. But I think on the other side, if you flip it, if that's Oregon, you'd be happy to pick up 5 yards on a run because they haven't been able to do that all game long.
Once again, OSU has 302 more yards offensively than Oregon does. And we're only midway through the second quarter, which is insane to say, as we have a sweep to the outside. That's Abuka. It's actually going to go down as a catch as Will Howard flipped it forward. Give him a pickup of 4. It's going to be 3rd and 2 at the Oregon 38.
Yeah, now here's a short and very manageable 3rd down for the Buckeyes. We're right about 50%, 2 for 4 so far in this game. Just been doing everything better than the opponent in this one. With about just over 6 minutes left in the second quarter.
Oregon needs a stop right now. They're just outside field goal ranges. Howard's going to take a QB sneak 2 yards out, and he's going to get it. Gutsy call, as you really see a QB sneak from 3rd and 1 or maybe even 3rd and inches. He went from a 3rd and long 2 and got it. Didn't look like Oregon was ready for that whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, well, who is? How often do you see a QB sneak? And it was not even like he was out wide or anything. They had him all in tight kind of QB sneak formation, I would say. Yeah, that's just such a gutsy call as well, kind of diving forward and falling down, but over 370 yards of total offense. And now on 1st and 10, might expect them to take a shot.
Here we go. It's going to be Jeremiah Smith on the sweep, and he's going to be taken down at the 30-yard line, pick up a 5. But yeah, just give it to your playmaker. Let everything seems to be going right for OSU. So why not try that QB sneak from 2 yards out? And of course, it works just like perfection for the Buckeyes as they're going to be set up with 2nd and 5 at the Oregon 30.
It's a good chance right now for the Buckeyes, and 31-0. We talked about it. I mean, this Ohio State defense allowed about 500 yards against Oregon, now allowing 0 so far in this first half.
And there goes Carnell Tate, the sophomore. He's going to get involved here with a 10-yard grab. It's going to be 1st down, and they have entered the red zone once again.
Let's first look for Carnell Tate in this game. We talked about him. He's another threat. It really gets overshadowed. He's got over 600 yards on the season behind Igbuka and Jeremiah Smith. And I just want to retrace what I said in the last play. I messed up what I was trying to say. They allowed 500 yards against Oregon, Ohio State, and this time only allowing 64. I said 0. I was looking at the points, so I apologize for that. But now 1st and 10 from the 20.
It's going to be a little fade route again intended for Tate. This time, Howard's not on the money. It's going to flow out of bounds, 2nd and 10. But once again, they're taking their deep shots to their receivers. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Twice Smith, once with Ibuka, and this time they're trying to go for their 3rd receiver, this time in Tate.
Yeah, it was good coverage as well, one-on-one. That was Reed, the senior right there with Tate, but Howard just floats that one. He was going for the pylon and just a little too much on it. Even if Tate jumps, he's not going to be able to spear that one out of the air, but already 3 touchdown passes on the day for Will Howard.
Judkins is going to get the inside handoff here in 2nd and 10. Only a gain of 2. It's going to be a 3rd and 8 inside the red zone. And I feel like even though it's 31-0, we haven't really seen OSU inside the red zone whatsoever. I mean, all of their touchdowns have come out from 40-plus yards out. 3 of them by the receivers, 1 of them by Travion Henderson from 66. So let's see what they dial up here on 3rd and 8 as they're going to go empty set. Actually, never mind. I think Quinshon Judkins is going to be to Howard's left, and Howard drops back, looks left, now fires towards the corner of the end zone. It's going to be incomplete. He was intending it for Travion Henderson. It's going to be 4th and 8. That'll bring out the field goal unit.
Going for the running back through the air. They've been doing that a lot all season long, really, with Henderson and Judkins. They like to go to Henderson more. He actually is 4th on the team in receptions. He's got around 200 yards to his name. Now a field goal to go up by 5 scores now for the Buckeyes.
Jaden Fielding already been a busy man. This is 2nd field goal attempt. Already have made 4 extra points. This one is right down the middle. 36-yard attempt is good. 34-0 OSU on top of Oregon. We'll take a break. 2:59 to go in this first half as Oregon tries to erase that donut before we go to halftime. I'm Ethan Bonheur, joined alongside Owen Heffron. We'll be back after this short break on Give 'em 5. All right. Tell us one. Welcome back to Give 'em 5 as we have 3 minutes to go in this first half between the Buckeyes and the Ducks. The 8 seed really rallying and putting it on the sole undefeated team in the country. 34-0. The winner plays January 10th against Texas in the semifinal. But right now, it's just been all OSU, and everything has been going their way.
I mean, absolutely everything. It's 34-0. It's 5 scores they lead by. They were favored coming into this game. They've had 14 points scored in the first quarter, 17 in the second quarter with still 3 minutes left to go, averaging 15 yards per pass and 8 yards per rush. It's been an absolute show of offense for Ryan Day and his team.
Gabriel drops back and just dumps it off underneath to his running back, Noah Whittington. Gain of 1 as he is wrapped up quickly there by Simon, who I feel like has been everywhere for this OSU defense, whether it's in the backfield, playing that linebacker position, just wrapping up every single person he sees. As it's going to be 2nd and 9 and probably the last play before the 2-minute warning hits.
If you take a look, that none of Gabriel's first reads are almost ever open. He was forced to hit the check down on the last play. They're trying to get big plays like Ohio State's been doing.
And Noah Whittington is just going to take the inside run, pick up a 4. It's going to be 3rd and 5. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning, I think. Yes, that it's going to take us to the 2-minute warning, which means we will take a short break. I'm Ethan Bonheur alongside Owen Heffron. 2 minutes to go in this first half. OSU up 34-0 live on Give 'em 5 Media. Make sure to subscribe and like. We will be back after this. Welcome back to Give 'em 5 Media. We are out of the 2-minute warning break. I'm Ethan Bonner, joined alongside Owen Heffron to bring you what has been probably one of the bigger blowouts we've seen in a top 25 matchup. And this one is caught by, I think, number 3 of Oregon. It's going to be a first down. I don't have the name with me. I think, actually, no, that's the tight end Ferguson. They're going to go quick here. Their
Yeah,
own
it's actually
40-yard line.
a nice first down there for the Ducks. It's a sight that we haven't seen a lot of in this game.
1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Gabriel trying to get some points on the board for his team as he's going to launch one down that far sideline one-on-one, and it's way ahead of his intended receiver, Tez Johnson. It's going to be 2nd and 10 with 1:26 to go.
It was going for a big shot. I like the decision there by Dylan Gabriel. Overthrows him just a bit. It's not often you see a lefty quarterback in football, but I feel like he throws a really nice tight spiral. This one just a little too far. Good coverage as well. Excuse me, from Denzel Burke.
Trips to the left, one receiver up at the top. The motion man moves, and Gabriel's going to roll out left. He spins out of a tackle, and now he's going to be swarmed by 3 other Buckeyes. He's going to be taken down for a big loss. It's going to be a loss of 6, and it's going to bring a 3rd and 16. Time is running down.
Just this, they're really just winning the battles in the trenches. Like we talked about a lot with Texas and Clemson in the first round with the blocking of the Texas O-line. This time it's the D-line of the Buckeyes. And again, just nothing open in the secondary allows that D-line to penetrate inside and get into the pocket, which makes it so hard for Dylan Gabriel to do what he does best and really create plays and locate those receivers.
Gabriel has time now, fires deep, and he's got a man wide open. It's going to be a 1st down and a lot more. My goodness, he's down at the 22-yard line. There's his receiver, Trayshawn Holden, the senior. Big play. Give him 44.
Yeah, and now you're starting to see Oregon get a little bit more comfortable. That's a defensive breakdown for sure. It looked to be zone coverage. Oh, but Holden might have stepped out of bounds before catching that football.
They got the playoff just in time. Lucky for Duck fans there, as Noah Whittington's going to catch one right out the backfield, give him 5. But yeah, like you said, it looked like he stepped out of bounds, but no referee threw down a hat. It's going to be 2nd down inside the red zone.
Now they're going to take their first time out after the screen pass to Whittington. It was a good job. It looked like they were just trying to get the playoff really fast after Holden might have stepped out of bounds. Looked to the left originally. I guess Gabriel didn't like the original screen, so went back across the other way to his right side, which is difficult being a lefty and all. He had to jump pass it over, I believe, Jack Sawyer on that line. It was a good job creating something out of nothing, it looked like. But then this is the biggest chance they're going to have. They do get the ball, I believe, coming out of halftime. So Dan Lanning wants to get points on the board right now. A touchdown is obviously ideal. And then they get the ball back at half, and then it's really just containing Jeremiah Smith and the Buckeyes.
Still have over 30 minutes of playing to go, so don't count out the undefeated Ducks just yet, because like you said, Owen, they get the ball at half, so they can easily cut this lead down 34-14 real quick on their opening drive. The seconds to go, Oregon inside the red zone at the 19-yard line to be exact, as little play action there, the Whittington pocket breaking down. Gabriel's going to get out of it, rolling. He's going to use his legs. Gabriel's going to get pushed out of bounds right at the line to gain. I think they're going to mark him just short. It's going to bring him 3rd and 1, 9 seconds to go.
Yeah, good heads-up play. You want the first down, but you also need to stop the clock. Don't want to waste a timeout. Good job there from Dylan Gabriel, who's got himself about 200 yards on the ground this season. So good job from number 8 there, their Heisman finalist of a quarterback. This has been Oregon's best drive they've put together so far.
And the biggest play of it could have been called back if a referee had just saw it, but a pass over the middle was caught. He is decked. That's Noah Whittington, 8-yard grab, and he gets down just in time, 2 seconds to go. And now it's decision time. Are you going to take a shot at the end zone, or are you just going to get points on the board?
Yeah, this is a big decision. I mean, you're down 34-0. I think, it's the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. Man, I'm so conflicted, but I think you should try for the touchdown here. I think you got to trust your offense. You haven't lost yet this season. You have to also not, but when you're an undefeated team, you have to not be too cocky, but you also have to play with the swagger of an undefeated team and know that you're those guys and believe in yourselves that you can, make those big plays, which they've been doing on that drive. I know that play to Holden should have been called back, but again, it was just his toe was out of bounds. It really doesn't change anything. That wouldn't have, even if he was inbounds, that play's still going to have the same result. So I think this is a big decision for Dan Lanning. It looks like they're leaving the offense out there.
They added 1 second back onto the clock, but it won't really matter here as it's going to be first and goal from the 5-yard line. 3 seconds to go. This has been the Ducks' best drive up until this point. Let's see if they can carry that momentum for one final play, end it on a high note. It's going to be an empty set here for Gabriel. 2 seconds to go. 1. Gabriel just gets it off, and I think Ohio State called a timeout. Yes, Ryan Day wants to talk it over, but smart play. He wants to see that formation, and now he's going to look to see with his setup as a defense from a defensive perspective.
Yeah, good play call, or good call from Ryan Day there. Call the timeout, just get a good look, kind of make Dylan Gabriel and Oregon more nervous. Right before this big first and goal, 3 seconds left. Most likely, unless you get a quick play, the last play of this first half.
You talk about icing a kicker. How about icing the quarterback? One of the Heisman finalists, a big down for Dylan Gabriel as he set up first and goal at the Ohio State 5-yard line. 3 seconds to go. Will Ohio State shut down all the momentum that they've built, or will Oregon finally get that donut wiped off before heading into halftime? Whittington standing next to Gabriel as Gabriel looks left, now right. He steps up, pocket collapsing. He's going to take off. No, he's going to fire towards the back of the end zone. It is caught by Trayshawn Holden, a much-needed touchdown to end the half for the Ducks, 34-6, awaiting the extra point.
Yeah, now they're going in to half with some momentum. Trayshawn Holden, who had the big play to set them up on this drive, and Gabriel, a good job getting out of the pocket, making the defense think that he was going to run, able to throw, and a great job of Holden getting that foot down. You only need one in college. It's exactly what he got with that left leg right at the back of the end zone. Worth 6. Good job from the Ducks. Now they just need to keep repeating it. The question is now, can they hold the Buckeyes and contain Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Judkins, and Henderson?
They're going to keep the kicker off the field. They're going to go another empty set for the 2-point conversion from the 3-yard line as Whittington's going to go in motion from left to right, fake the jet sweep, and Gabriel has time, fires again to the back of the end zone. It's going to be a conversion. The 2-point conversion is made there by number 14, Justice Lowe. It's going to be 34-8 heading into halftime with Oregon getting the ball.
Yeah, how about Justice Lowe on the 2-point conversion? Not a guy that you're going to expect. Only 19 catches. That was his 20th right there. Yet to see him in the game. 34-8, Oregon with a little bit of momentum, but Jeremiah Smith has been absolutely lights out in this game so far. And so is this Ohio State offense, nearly 400 yards.
So 34-8, OSU topping the Ducks currently. I'm Ethan Bonheur, joined alongside Owen Heffron. We're going to step aside for a quick break, and I think we're going to have a little bit of a switch from one stream to another. So join us in a few minutes as we switch over to another quick setup here. As we've been having a couple of technical difficulties, but that will be fixed as we switch over. 34-8 is your halftime. Ethan Bonheur, Owen Heffron,